Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is happening again. We have ourselves another potential doping scandal in the world of track and field, and I want to be specific with my wording here. This is just an accusation. This is not an outright conviction, and it's certainly not a guilty plea. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We are dealing with a big-time athlete who actually holds a world record in his event. This doping scandal involves Ronix Kipruto from Kenya, who many of you know is the world record holder for the 10-kilometer distance on the roads, holding a time of 26 minutes and 24 seconds. Really a masterclass of 10K running on the roads. Now, just recently, Kipruto was found in violation of his athletics biological passport, which we've talked about in great detail in the past, and we'll make sure to touch on that by the end of this video. But for now, this is really another scary prospect, because this is a big name. This is not just another big weekend runner looking for a few victories here and there. This is a world championship and Olympic medalist kind of athlete. In fact, we have seen him perform very well across the globe, running amazing times in Valencia, and in fact, he's only competed twice this season, running very fast both times, running a 59:22 for his half marathon, and just outside of 27 minutes for his 10K. Now, Ronix Kipruto has outright denied this doping violation. In fact, he kept it pretty short and simple when it came to his social media. He basically said, "I did not dope. I do not dope. The truth will be on my side." Like many athletes that do get charged with an initial doping violation, he is denying that he has ever taken any kind of illegal substance. And that's exactly what this is about, which is an atypical finding showcasing an illegal method or substance use for his potential performances. Now, returning to the athletics biological passport, instead of an athlete being found in violation of an outright positive test using steroids, human growth hormone, anything like that, a biological passport showcases a deviation from his normal readings when it comes to his blood work. Now, there's actually a lot more specificity to these exact rulings when it comes to the biological passport. Unlike other testing methods, in order for this to get past the actual deviations, there are actually 3 professional readers that come and basically say, yes, we can only say unanimously he was found outside of his normal readings, and the only realistic thing that we can see that would showcase such a reading is use of illegal substances. Now, the scary thing at the moment is that we have recently seen a false accusation. That came from none other than Peter Bull from Australia. Back in the beginning of 2023, he was charged with a positive result showcasing illegal substances. But it turns out that the laboratory in Australia basically made a huge error. In fact, there's a pretty lengthy article showcasing how big their mess up really was, and I'll make sure to link that video down below in the description if you want to see more information on it. But returning back to Ronix Kipruto, both him and his agent are very troubled about this, and they're basically saying that we do not ever use any illegal substance. We stay very grounded in both our training cycle and in our nutrition, so something like this would just never ever happen. Now, in a recent interview, Kipruto's manager Davor Sevilla said that it is difficult and unfortunate for me to say that I find myself in a situation where my heart is broken. The heartbreak is caused by the fact that I find all possible outcomes of this situation leading to a major loss. If Ronix is lying, which I do not believe to be the case, that is obviously a disaster. Alternatively, if all of these accusations are just a big mistake, such as a false positive, or God forbid, if the AIU has dropped the ball, then all such scenarios are big losses. It certainly does seem as though both Kipruto and his manager are pretty shook about this whole situation, but it actually turns out that this is even more of a positive doping accusation than many previously thought, because when it comes to where Kipruto actually trains, his training coach is brother Colm O'Connell, who guided David Rudisha to 2 Olympic gold medals and the world record in the 800 meters. Now, brother Colm has taught since 1976 in Aten, Kenya, and he's also been coaching athletes for more than 40 years. And over this entire 40-year span, none of his athletes have ever been charged with illegal substance abuse. This really is quite the significant finding, because potentially we could be seeing the first athlete in this entire training group over the past 40 years to be tested positive and to be found positive, allegedly. It's also important to mention that his manager says that he is sticking with Kipruto because he sees his hard work, he sees his consistent testimony, and he also sees his willingness to fight and defend himself to clear his name and to risk absolutely everything he has while fighting the system. He also added that if Ronix is found guilty, we will repay the commission we have earned to the event organizers for the respective period of time, even if we remain of the belief that he is innocent. This, paired with over $100,000 invested into St. Patrick's athletics program over the recent years, will end up being a massive financial challenge for our industry. This kind of thing just always adds loads of drama to the track and field world, and obviously for the time being, Ronix Kipruto is tentatively banned from competing in road racing or track and field. Again, he's only competed twice this year, but potentially, he could have made the World Championship team for either the 10,000 meters, perhaps the 5,000, or maybe some other big road race coming up over the next few months. One of the big things to consider when looking at these athletes who actually do test positive for an athletics biological passport is the fact that there is a lot of oversight. Again, there are 3 professionals that come in and see whether or not this is an atypical finding, and they do a very, very deep dive into the athlete's past, into the athlete's travels, to see what exactly was going on during that time. Because as they do mention in their guidelines to the biological passport, there's a lot of things that can affect an athlete's levels, such as travel, such as food, such as sickness. A lot of things can happen. However, if there is only one explanation for the atypical finding before a charge is issued, that is in fact what they do. They say that this athlete can only be found to have been outside of what they normally do when it comes to illegal substances. Right now, the Athletics Integrity Unit has only 2 athletics biological passport cases in progress, and the other ABP case, which is in progress, is against last year's world steeplechase champion Nora Gerudo, a Kenyan-born athlete who represents Kazakhstan. Now, we also made a video about this specific case, so we'll make sure to link that down below in the description as well. And her charge was issued on April 4th. The ball just keeps rolling for more and more doping accusations, and almost every single time, this does lead to an athlete being found guilty, or even recently showcasing someone pleading guilty when it comes to distributing illegal substances. And now with all of this information in mind, I would love to hear from all of you once again. You always have very interesting takes when it comes to doping scandals, so make sure to leave your comments down below on whether or not you think Ronik Skipruto is in fact guilty, whether or not he's innocent, and whether or not he will return to the track and field world in 2023. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, until next time.